we have not received any request for such assistance. We First point. Second point, as you know, in this conflict, we were not consulted before it began. We're not engaged in the conflict. We do not intend to engage. What we are doing, where we are engaged, is dealing with the consequences of the conflict, consequences that continue to spread in the region and to some extent beyond into the Indo-Pacific region, obviously with the naval.
Hello everyone, another edition of the Auto Market, and we are today talking about Canada's relationship to the Iran conflict, or Iran war more precisely. Indeed, I come from this as someone who has a background from international relations, both from the University of Toronto and having done some studies at the Norman Paterson School of International Affairs at Carleton, and in my view is very vital for Canada's messaging on the Iran war to be consistent. I mean, consistent with our position with Greenland, consistent with our position that sovereignty of nations must be respected and the rule of law, no matter how despicable we might regard a particular nation and its insufferable human rights abuses, namely Iran. That cannot be a pretext for the provocation of war, which destroys needlessly more human life, destroys the environment, displaces people, subjects innocent civilians to premature death. This is not something where Canada needs to be steadfast against, whether it's Trump wanting to go into Greenland, whether it's Trump now gone into Iran, and Trump in Venezuela. Canada's messaging needs to be consistent, that we defend and support international law, and without international law there is anarchy and chaos, and that's exactly what Trump and his regime seems to want. They want a chaos whereby they can legitimate further military subjugation of people, subversion of human rights on the pretext of outrageous, ridiculous, nefarious claims and sophistry. Saying that, oh, well, we want, the first started with them wanting to, bomb Iran and because of human rights abuse. Well, Trump is not interested in human rights abuses. We all know that. He doesn't respect the rights of Americans, so why should he respect the rights of Iranians? That is a joke. And then he went to all kinds of outrageousness, and it all seemed to be a charade to hide behind Israel's desire to engage in Iran militarily, because they don't care about the rule of law either. That's why they've been in Palestine the whole time, completely undermining and ridiculing and making a mockery of Jewish principles, and that also support the rule of law and human life. What we see going on is outrageous. So we as Canadians need to stand up for the sovereignty of all nations, the respect of the rule of law, if we are not to digress into a international regime that Trump wants of complete anarchy, chaos, where he seeks to take over countries based upon his own whatever he thinks at the time is going to sell. He's going to sell his MAGA people, or whoever he's going to sell to on Fox News or wherever that is. What we're seeing going on here is completely outrageous. Another flaunting of the rule of law, another flaunting of democracy, and it's leading to more and more chaos. And many people don't know that Iran is an ally to both China and Russia that apparently are engaged in supplying various military intelligence support. So, thanks to Trump, we have another destructive war, and we as Canadians need to be steadfast against this, and we cannot vacillate from our determination to protect the rule of law, to protect human life, and not allow the Trump regime to take us into a spiraling World War III scenario. That is my comments. What do you think? Make your comments below if you can, and please subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.